Let's go back to Kamigawa in deck number 817, talking about Kira, the Great Glass Spinner. Now for 3 mana, we get a 2/2 Flying Spirit, as most legendary creatures were back then. Creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time in a turn, counter it. So it's a beautiful thing. Now it says creatures you control, that obviously includes your commander as well, Kira here. So there are many different ways to build this. I did it flying tribal. So I'll give you all a second to click off because this is mono blue. Now, what intrigued me about it is I've done blue and white. They like printed the cards. They want you to build the blue and white Flying Matters deck, but there's not a whole lot of just in mono blue. So first, let's put the, what do we call it, Flying Tribal cards in here. You know, Favorable Winds, Wind Reader, Sphinx. You know, attack with a flyer, draw a card. That's pretty good. Winged Words. Warden of Evos Isle is making them cheaper. Sprite Noble, it's a reach, I know, but creatures you control flying. Windstorm Drake, making them bigger. Psione. Scrying a whole bunch. Now, but then that's where we get to the really cool stuff like Deluge. Deluge is really great if we have the archetype out. I realize having the archetype of imagination in a mono blue, most of our creatures fly. There's what, 3 or 4 that don't fly. It's not about granting flying to us. It's about taking flying from our opponents. Now, if none of our creatures can be blocked, that's a really good place to be in. So that is why the archetype is in there. And for things like Deluge and things like Flood, because you can still get overwhelmed by, you know, non-flyers. But Flood, amazing card, especially when you can guarantee that none of your opponents will have flying creatures. So let's look in our ramp, shall we? We have a High Tide, Soul Ring, Guardian Idol, Sky Diamond, Pristine Talisman, Spectral Searchlight, and Kefnit's Monument to get those creatures down, you know, 1 less. Now, here's as good a spot as any. I'm running a Black Vice. And I'll tell you why I'm running a Black Vice. Because I wanted as many revised cards as I could in here. I had some revised flyers, and I had that binder out because I specifically wanted 1 card, and I run across the Black Vice, and I was like, you know what? Sometimes a Vice can just win you the game. Or make a really big target of you. Anyway, card draw. We have Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Impulse. I kind of like Theft of Dreams because that's now it is 1 opponent, but you know, still. Reconnaissance Mission. Creature you control deals combat damage, you get to draw a card. Now there are other versions of this. What is it? Coastal Piracy and summon creatures, but Reconnaissance Mission is what I have. Now I do have some team pump here, like the Grand Architect. It just champions, you know, all blue creatures get 1/1. The Paragon gives them all 1/1. Sunken City, as terrible of a card as it is, all blue creatures get 1/1. Every other color just gets a 2-mana version, but blue gets a 2-mana version and has to pay for it every single turn. Anyway, let's look at our flyer, shall we? And I think these are accidentally in CMC order, so we have a Siren Storm Tamer. It's not bad. I love Phil and Kaja Foglio's work. The Cloud Pirates here. It's a 1/1 flyer. It's taken us a lot of a 1/1 flyer, but it's one of those cards that people go, what? Let me see that. Because it just looks so, you know, odd. Spectral Sailor. Silver Raven. Sea Sprite. Don't underestimate protection from color. Those things Yeah, it's not bad. She just stands there through a blasphemous act. Cerulean Drake, Thrumming Bird. Yeah, I know you haven't seen it yet, but there's a reason coming for Thrumming Bird. Isior. And not only that, but now spells that your opponents that target your commander cost 3 more. So not only is the first one countered, but they all cost 3 more. So that's really good. Rishadan Airship. I don't care if it can only block creatures with flying. Serendib Efreet. Now, there's a lot wrong with this particular card. They use the wrong art, the wrong border, but they're all that way. All the revised Serendib Efreets look just like this. It's a green border blue card. Wizards' policy at the time, and I don't think it has changed, was if there was an error, they'd let it run. Because there was an issue with Edgar. But anyway, they let it run because they knew they were creating a collectible item, and they didn't want to make things artificially rarer than they had intended. So that's why all of the... But it is a 3/4 flyer for 3. It does ping you during your upkeep. I've always kind of liked the card. We have... Well, these are... Whoa, not in CMC order, because there's a Fog Bank. I mean, it's a really good blocker, but it also flies. You know, we have Air Elemental. That's the card I wanted. I wanted the OG Air Elemental, and I know there are better cards out there, but you know what? I love that art. Love that card. Just like Mahamadi Djinn. Yeah, I know this is a old deck. Wind Spirit. Wind Spirit is not bad. Now, I didn't give it enough credit when Ice Age first came out, but it can't be blocked by 1 creature, so your opponent has to have 2 flyers just in order to block it. Menace, essentially. Yeah. Dungeon Geist. You know, kind of acts as removal. It just taps it. Soulblade Djinn. Cast a non-creature spell, your creatures get 1/1, so that's not bad. Attempsis provides that weird lose con. Sometimes it works, and I mean, Attempsis, as your commander, people see it coming, but if it's just part of the 99, it's one of those cards that people just don't put a lot of stock in. You know, it's a 6-mana 4/5 Sphinx, so yeah. That's about all that most people care. Speaking of Sphinx, just a big flyer, 5/5 for 6, Flying Shroud. You can look at the top, not bad. Scholar of the Lost Trove, Inspired Sphinx. We could have done some mono blue Sphinx travel, but that's really expensive, and you kind of want white in there anyway. And then Quicksilver Gargantuan, which doesn't fly, but it does enter as a copy of something you have that you know is probably going to fly. Or, you know, something else that's really neat on the battlefield. Now, I have another flyer, and I know Yingling's Harbinger, because it goes and searches Mu Yan Ling Celestial Wind. First off, this art's amazing, but here again, we're playing it for the ultimate, you know. That's a win con. Of course, you know, in the old days, that's how they made Planeswalkers, where their ultimate won you the game. Sure. Anyway, we have some removal. We have Pongify, Hydroblast, Annul, Negate, Memory Lapse, Counterspell. Is there any more counter magic in there? Rewind. Yes. A little bounce, you know, Boomerang, Aetherize. I love this card. Just, you know, bounce all attackers. I'm not targeting. You know, gets around the Shroud, the Hexproof, whatever. Polymorphous Jest. This is... I love that they lose the abilities and become blue frogs. Hops across the water. Eats all the food. 2 of y'all out there in the world will get that. Specifically 2. But... It's, this is the blue sudden spoiling. I mean, Sleep, tapping them and getting that free round, sure. And then we have Control Magic and Sower of Temptation to just outright steal a creature. Which leads us, we don't have a whole lot of non-basics. I mean, you know, we have that Reliquary, the Desert of the Mindful, Remote Isle for some cycling, Halimar Depths, and Mystic Sanctuary because they're really good. And then, of course, that Rogue's Passage. So, that is Kira, the Great Glass Spinner. I don't think I've had a chance to play this one yet. I'll probably end up trying it out this weekend. But we will go and put it up on the wall. 8:17, that row's filling up quick. Of course, we should be getting close to Crimson Vow stuff soon. So are they going to do the Underworld thing? I mean, as of right now, and I could be off base and the information could already be out there. I'm recording this several days before y'all see it, but is that what they're doing? Because we had the werewolf set, and now we're going to have the vampire set, and there's a wedding. We don't know. They won't tell us who Olivia's marrying. Is it going to be a werewolf? Or are we going to cross the bloodlines and get the Underworld thing? I don't know. It would be a really good tie-in for an Underworld secret lair. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I've got. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.